Hello, everybody. How are you doing? Hope everybody is doing well. You may know, you may not know, I work for a Dutch company, which is translated, it would translate as being HealthNet. And we have a panel of experts on different topics. So we have doctors, we have cardiologists, we have surgeons, we have a bunch of different experts on different topics. I'm handling the physiotherapy related questions. Basically, if somebody needs or has a question on some kind of an injury and they're not sure if they need to take action, go see a specialist, or they're not sure what to do, they can send the question in and it will be redirected to me. Now, the last couple of months, it's been crazy. I've been getting so many questions, and sometimes there's questions that are just difficult to answer by text. So I figured I can just do a video on that. It gives me a little bit more ability to go into detail. So let me look up the question that I had in mind. This is a question by Marco. And Marco is saying that he's unsure what to do. He has a worn back. He has some degenerative disc disease, and he's got a disc bulge on L4, L5, and L5S1. That's the lowest part of the lower back. Let's say the connection between the lower back and the tailbone. Very, very common to have disc bulges and herniations at that point. No nerve damage through scan and no nerve compression. So he's got an MRI done. Every now and then you'll have problems with the sensitivity in his toes on the right side, his right leg, and the buttock area, the glute area. They're saying, I assume it's the health professionals, it's untreatable. Now, he wants to do some movement or exercises, even though he's in pain. And the pain specialist is saying he should do exercise therapy, so corrective exercise therapy with therapist, and stop with anything else that he's doing, which is not specified. And the physiotherapist is on the same page, wants him to do the same thing, but the neurologist says that both aren't scientifically scientifically backed. In other words, not worth the effort. Let's see. There's a program, and according to that program, he is not able to work in his garden, but he's got a big garden, 1,300 square meters, and he takes care of that by himself. So he wants to do the fitness program, but he's a bit lost, and he's asking me, what should I do? Now, this is obviously very difficult, and I can fully understand that this is very frustrating as well, especially if you're seeing multiple specialists and they're giving you different sorts of advice. So let's break this down a little bit part by part and start with the fact of what did they find in the scan. They found a nerve compression, a small disc bulge, which basically means that on two levels, the disc that is supposed to be between the pieces of bone is bulging outwards a little bit. That, again, is very, very common. And you'll find that even with people that have no issues at all, if you put them through a scan, there's a very big amount of them that have disc bulges. I might have a disc bulge, and I'm not aware of that. I don't have any problems either. So having a disc bulge doesn't mean you have to have pain. Now, most importantly, they said there's no nerve compression. If you have no nerve issues, nothing pressing down or messing with the ability of the nerve to transmit signals, because that's basically what the nerves do. They send signals to the muscles in order for them to contract and work and support the body. And they also provide messages of sensation, so the sensitivity of the skin and so on, to the brain. Now, if there's no nerve compression, no structural issues there, that's a very good sign. If there is an issue with the nerve, that's a bit more difficult to treat. So, first of all, don't worry too much about this. The things that you're showing on the scan, very, very normal. Now, it would be very interesting for me if I had your age, so I could, give you a little bit of an idea of how common this is. But let me just tell you, it's very common, and it doesn't have to mean anything for your quality of life or pain. Now, you're dealing with two different main opinions. One, or neurologist is saying your exercise program is not evidence based. Your physio and your manual therapist are saying do medical fitness. The fact that your neurologist is saying it's not scientifically proven is a very strange thing to say, because I think for most treatment options, the more you dig, the more you'll find that it's very difficult to find a treatment form that is 100% scientifically proven. That being said, of all the different things that you can do, manipulations, mobilizations, massage, acupuncture, you name it, exercise therapy for the last 30, 40 years has been the most reliable form of treatment, short term and long term, if you compare it to other forms of treatment, especially for low back issues. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean it has to be either or. So that means you can go on an exercise program and at the same time have some treatment intervention done to help with the pain. And that could be any of those things that I just mentioned. So to put that into context, that means you can go to a physio, go there and get a treatment program done. This program should not only be tailored to your current situation. So if you can't bend over very well, it needs to be programmed in a way that it gradually reteaches you how to do that. And that may come with a certain period where you don't actively move your back. Eventually, though, you want that program to be progressive and tailored towards what you need it for. So it would be very good to analyze what you're doing with your back when you're working in your garden, break those movements down, and then simplify them up to a level where you can do them without pain. Normally, when I work with clients, I would actually ask them to show me how to do it or go with them to the garden so that I have an idea. How do you move around? How do you bend? How do you sit? How do you kneel? Then have an idea of how much discomfort does that give you. And then I can start to take a look at those movements and simplify them and come up with a plan to build you towards that level of functioning. And in my experience, having a program like that gives really, really good results. So I'm very surprised by your neurologist. And I always find it difficult to go against the advice of another professional. In this case, there's two clear, different experts with different suggestions that are pretty much opposites. If I have to choose one, I definitely choose the advice of your physiotherapist. I think your neurologist's advice is not going to get you anywhere. So let me sum this up for you. First of all, don't worry about what is found on the scan. It's very, very common, and it really doesn't mean anything. It could be that you've had these things for a long term already, but it just comes out now. Now that you know that, you have a good prognosis. So that means you have a good, a good sense of hope, a little bit of light at the end of the tunnel. Next step is find a physiotherapist with a sports background, or somebody that's maybe trained as a personal trainer or a medical or a sports physiotherapist, somebody that can sit down with you and analyze where you are, where you need to go. From that point, go on to the medical fitness program and really commit to it. And what I mean by that is going once a week doesn't help. It's a drop in a bucket. It doesn't really get you anywhere. So make sure you try to do at least something 2 or 3 times a week. If you can, do something daily. Now, if you do something daily, make sure it's a small amount, because you need to be able to recover from this as well. And once you've established a program that you can do without making your problems worse, stay on that program for a week or two and then slowly progress it week by week. That means you have to change exercises, you have to make it a little bit more difficult, and every week it has to be a little bit more like what you'd be doing in a garden. If you can't avoid working in a garden while you're going through this process, make sure that, again, ask your therapist to come with you so that he or she can see in what way you're moving, and maybe he or she can give you some tips to make it a bit more comfortable to work. That's what I would do. I hope that is helpful advice to you. I wouldn't worry too much about this. If you need any more help with this, we have an online physiotherapy program as well, so I'll happily get you going. But I do think that it's important to do this in a actual one-on-one setting first. So all the best of luck. And if you need some more information or you have some more questions, feel free to reach out to me. That's no problem at all. And if you're watching this and you have similar questions or anything like that, you can always drop a question below, and otherwise go to the website. It's markjammovement.com, and there's also a Facebook page. Send me a message there. I usually react quite quickly if it's through those channels. And then I will see you at the next video. Bye.